Hello everybody and welcome to Asgard. So this is going to be a very different type of video making today because this is not going to be featured on the main channel. This is just going to be an exclusive to the Welcome to Asgard channel. And the reason why is because I think it's something that needs to be said, but also at the same time I know that for my channel, the Odin's Movie Blog channel, I keep that focused on movie-related topics, and obviously this would fall in line with the things that I normally talk about, especially when it comes to identity politics and the narrative that the media is trying to push, and just the fake news that the media likes to push out there, constantly about a variety of subjects, especially movie-related. But this one is not movie-related, and so therefore I wanted to still talk about it, but I also didn't want to put it onto the movie channel and have people that are just there for movie content and movie reviews and, commentary on the media as far as movies are concerned to be put off by it. But also, it got me thinking that this might be an outlet for me to make these types of videos in the future. So please, if you do like this type of video, please smash the like button, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to this channel as well. But what I want to talk about is I want to talk about this nonsense that's been going on over the last 24 hours or so. So if you have not heard the story, there was a group of teenagers, high school students, and it was an all-boy group because it was from an all-boys school. And therefore, what we had in this situation is that they were visiting Washington, D.C. because they were up there for the March for Life, which is an amazing event where, students from all across the country go to support the effort to overturn Roe v. Wade, the effort to finally make abortion illegal, which is something that we greatly need in this country, seeing that abortion is one of the most heinous acts that anyone can admit, and the science is so much more on our sides now than it was maybe in the past, that now you have atheists and agnostics and people from all different faith backgrounds coming up to support this movement, which I think is so important. And so that was why they were up in the first place. And so a group of them, a lot of them, also must have families that are Trump supporters because a lot of them had the Make America Great Again hat on in the process. At the same time, there were other events going on. Obviously, it's Washington, D.C. It's a busy time of the year. Not only do you have the Women's March, but you have a bunch of other things going on. And so from what we can tell is that there were different groups that were in the same area at the same time. And the whole situation happened where a video, like a very short video, and a photo came out of one of the high school students. And the high school student was looking into the eyes of what seems to be a Native American who was beating his drum. And the immediate narrative was, oh my gosh, it's, they are being so disrespectful, and oh my gosh, white privilege, and et cetera, et cetera. And this was all the nonsense. And because of that news story, and this is something that was covered by CNN, by all of the mainstream news media outlets, you had major stars like Chris Evans, Philip DeFranco, as far as YouTube stars are concerned, talking about this, sharing this nonsense, this fake news, before actually looking into the story. Finally, over time, more news comes out. And this has been after the fact that the student that was in the picture, as well as some of his friends and his family, were doxxed, which means that they were essentially attacked online, information about them exposed, things of that nature, which is just disgusting because this is a teenager that we're talking about here. This is a child that we're talking about here. But also, the full video came out, and from what we can see in the full video, and what you can see very clearly, is that the man who's in question here, the Native American man, beating the drum, goes by himself, approaches the crowd of boys who are just chilling out, having fun, doing some school cheers, etc., goes into the crowd, goes straight into them, continuing to beat his drum. They, like teenage boys, react to it by dancing along, like not knowing how to react because there's an older man there who they don't know, a stranger who very well could be dangerous for all we know, beating his drum in some of their faces. And just keep on going, and just keeps on going into them. And then finally, eventually, at some point, gets face-to-face with this one kid who's just standing there. And part of him, sometimes he smirks, sometimes he smiles, because guess what? He's a teenager who is being faced down by an adult who is beating a drum in his face, who is the one that approached them in the first place. All while this is going on, you have another group of people there on a megaphone, calling some of the students the N-word, calling some of the students crackers, calling some of the students some of the worst names ever. And these, again, are high school students, and they are essentially being harassed and attacked by this group of people. And it seems to me, part of the group was supporting the guy that was in the middle. So it seems like he was a part of that same group. And so basically what the media said was, oh my gosh, look at the fact that you have this white teen with a Make America Great Again hat, and oh my God, toxic masculinity, and oh my God, we have such a hateful country. When in reality, the Native American was the one that approached them all in the first place, put himself into the middle of that crowd, like walked himself in the middle, beating his drum in some of these students' faces, while other people were yelling obscenities at them. And yet, what we're supposed to get from all this, with the CNNs of the world and all this, and even when all of the information's out there, people are still either not backing down, put a small like either just taking the tweet down altogether and not making a follow-up tweet, which is disgusting. Because when you have this kind of a platform, when you have millions of followers, when people are relying on you for news information and you give them something that turns out not to be true and not to be the whole story, and then you don't rescind it, or you're when the way you rescind it is just by taking it down, that news is still out there. There are people to this day, right now, who think that they are still right, saying, oh, well, even though the kid didn't do anything wrong, it's still, the sentiment is still what's correct. And yet this kid is being, harassed. There are people who are calling for his expulsion. There are people who are going after him. And again, he is a child. He is a teenager. And what we've gotten to the point now is that any person, regardless of their age it seems, who happens to be a Trump supporter, has a Make America Great Again hat, or just is white in general, if they are put in a situation, they are never going to be given the benefit of the doubt, because that is the country that we live in today. And it's really sad, because last time I checked, rule of law is what should matter. The truth of the matter is what should matter. Not all of this speculation. That's the reason why it makes me so mad when I see some of this breaking news, the 24-hour news cycle. And this goes for all major news networks. I'm not trying to excuse the Fox Newses of the world or the Drudge Reports or anything like that. What I'm trying to show is that this 24-hour news cycle that we're now in leads us to make false assumptions. And when those false assumptions are made, because breaking news, it's like, oh my God, plastered in your face for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes even longer. And then when the story turns out not to be true or as true, etc., then all of a sudden it just goes away. Because you've just put that out there and it's been consumed by millions and millions of people, many of them are not going to know that, oh, you're wrong. Your coverage was wrong. And that's why I want to give a huge shout out, and that's why the reason I've been on her page. Vanessa Bourbon has been doing some really excellent coverage of this. Follow her on Twitter at 2fingersbourbon. She's wonderful. She's been tweeting about this nonstop. She's been showing all the video evidence to suggest and show why all of this that's being said and proclaimed by the media is totally false and it is totally nonsense. And she's been doing a really great job. She's someone who actually used to be a hard leftist
who, over time has just realized, oh my God, these people are absolutely insane by the very fact that, again, they're attacking a teenager. You had one media personality, and again, I put this on my own Twitter because I responded to him, who said, man, isn't that the most punchable face you've ever seen when talking about a 16-year-old kid? A kid. So you bet I reported his ass. But you know what? His probably won't get taken down. He probably won't get any strikes because guess what? He's got the little blue verified check mark and fits along with the political ideology of Twitter. But this is what we're dealing with right now. Like, if you wanted evidence that there is a problem going on right now, if you wanted evidence that there's some seriously dark dark powers going on in the world today, look no further than this. Bernardo also did this a very, very good job, and I retweeted this myself. And basically, this is the information that we know. Again, from what we've seen in the video, the kid is already being doxxed. So again, personal information is being put out there. They also did the parents and called their jobs. So basically, they called the parents, they called their jobs, and basically are trying to get them fired from their jobs and trying to get the kid expelled from school, putting all their information out there. Kids are facing expulsion. There are grotesque art and comments directed at them because obviously people are just disgusting. Famous people are supporting this as well, like Chris Evans, and Hollywood individuals are also going in too. And so what we're left with here is a very dangerous situation because a kid's life is at stake, and it's all being done because a certain narrative was put forward, a false narrative that was put forward, and this false narrative is being put forward every single day. So what can we do? Well, obviously we can try and throw our support behind this, get it talking on social media, get the truth out there, share the full video, the full context, and say, if you want to say anything, watch the full video first. And if you don't watch the full video, then you need to shut your mouth because you have no idea what you're talking about. So we can start there. We can also put our thoughts and prayers to that kid and all the other kids there for all of this nonsense that's going on, that, facing expulsion, again, at this age, as a high school teacher, as someone who teaches and deals with kids like this on a daily basis, I can say I am truly disgusted that this kind of action is being done against them by the news media, by these troglodytes on Twitter, by these horrible people, by these Hollywood stars who are trying to push this agenda. And what's even more disgusting is that even when the truth comes out, when a Philip DeFranco, for example, he takes down the video, but then he says, I still stand by my statement as far as, thinking that our country is full of hatred. So you take it back, but you don't take it back. That's disgusting. But anyway, guys, I just want to get this video out there. I know it's a little bit different. Maybe it's not as cohesive, maybe it's not as put together, but it's just something where I'm still processing it. And at the end of the day, based on the evidence that we have, these kids have been treated terribly. And all we can do is pray for them and try and give them as much support we can. And also get the truth out there, because this is just absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. follow Vanessa Bourbon on Twitter. She's awesome. And God bless.